movie at 800.
You're listening to the home of the Texas Rangers, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Look at us. We don't need no stinking Wi-Fi. I don't know how well it's going to work long term. I'm on my hotspot. Vic's on his. I'm guessing you're on yours, Rob. Is that the deal? You look confused, though.
I think our Wi-Fi is working.
Oh, man.
Because I didn't connect to anything, and suddenly I'm in the show.
Okay. Well, I'm still attached to my my phone, so I'll try it again. I'll check during the next break if we're if we're safe and sound. But
are you who's no hombre?
That's me.
Oh, that's you?
Yeah, Nombre Shut Up. That's the name of the network.
And are you the other one?
Yeah,
I'm looking at?
I'm the other one.
You're the other one?
I don't know. It's just.
I needed to name. You need to name your Wi-Fi like my neighbor's
Oh, yeah.
when everybody's trying to steal your Wi-Fi, name them after your neighbor.
Yeah.
My neighbor's a Wi-Fi thief. What's your password? My neighbor's a Wi-Fi thief.
Just put virus.
Virus.
Yeah, virus. You click on this virus.
Police department, SAPD, Undercover Unit 9.
Oh, somebody will hack the hell out of that. But virus, they don't want to mess with. Anthony Richardson is catching a little heat. Why, you might ask? Well, apparently can't throw a football is what,
or won't
throw a football. The Colts and Bengals have been practicing, and the Bengals players he was so bad that the Bengals players were frustrated with how bad he was. To the point where he said, Bengals defensive tackle B.J. Hill said, "Throw the ball, bro."
Can you imagine, man?
Cam Taylor-Britt said, "Is that all he does is run?" And then right after he said, "Is that all he does is run?" The next snap, he did throw the ball directly to a Cincinnati linebacker, Logan Wilson, with an interception.
So
rough game or rough practice session, joint practice for Anthony Richardson. Which,
what do you think of him? I don't know anything about Anthony Richardson. I know he's a big, strong cat from Florida.
I know he is really fast, and I know it's almost I think he's like a poor man's Lamar Jackson. And it's going to be a project to develop him as a passer. Like Lamar Jackson, people try to act like he can't throw now.
He throws darts.
When he was coming into the league, I wasn't sure he was going to make it because he was one of the most inaccurate guys I've ever seen. With
Not anymore.
I mean, he's figured it out. It's going to take Anthony Richardson figuring that out.
Okay, so I don't know much about Shane Steichen. I know that he was with the Eagles that Super Bowl run.
Yeah.
Or that Super Bowl year. And he turned he turned Carson Wentz. Obviously, he was the thing for Carson Wentz. I mean, we thought it was Frank Reich that was the thing for Carson Wentz. No, it turns out it was Shane Steichen because Wentz got to Reich again and couldn't do it.
No.
Anthony Richardson played 2 games? 3 games?
I think more so I think Shane Steichen was more so the thing for Jalen Hurts.
Oh, okay, for Hurts. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I misplaced the name.
Yeah.
But we know that the Super Bowl is capable with a receiver that might be less than functionally a quarterback. He's done it already.
Sure.
But I don't know anything about Anthony Richardson other than he is a big, strong cat from Florida. We got 3 or 4 games last year. When did he get hurt? Early. It was
very early
like,
in the season.
did we even get a regular season game? I don't feel like I ever saw him play.
I think he got 1 or 2 games. I don't think he got he didn't get much more than that.
And if I'm Steichen and I'm practicing against a team that I don't know if they're going to see the Colts or the Bengals this year, I don't know. That's not a good sign to me. That in practice, and I saw at the end of practice, he was 10 of 20 with a touchdown and interception, truly 500 passing, 10 of 20, a touchdown and an interception in his 20 snaps.
Which that's not ideal in practice.
No, it's a terrible situation to be in, but I'm still going to fall back on. I know that Shane Steichen has taken a dude a whole lot like Anthony Richardson. Granted, Philly had a whole lot more talent and made him, if not really, really good, it's supremely adequate. Because I don't think Jalen Hurts has turned out to be as good as we thought he was going to be.
I agree.
I think he kind of leveled off very quickly and might be because Shane Steichen left.
Yeah, so Shane Steichen's one of the guys that I'm very high on him as a coach. And I think if anybody's going to get something out of Anthony Richardson, it'll be him. But Jalen Hurts was a more polished player when Steichen got him than Anthony Richardson is. Anthony Richardson is very, very, very raw.
So is he a guy? Let's apply this conversation to Anthony Richardson that we would with Drake May. Because Drake May, I think we can agree, physically is a far more ready NFL product. Like the arm's there. He's played in a pro-style offense.
Yeah.
He's done all the things to get him ready, where Anthony Richardson, I don't think did. Wasn't there at Florida for a year.
Well,
right?
And when he was, like, Florida was, remember, using dual quarterbacks.
Right, so,
and when it was a passing situation, Anthony Richardson wasn't on the field.
How much do you play Anthony Richardson as opposed to Drake May? And they're essentially in the same place.
I play them both as much as I can.
Even though Drake May has far more, I mean, I know that Drake May is closer to being an NFL starter than Richardson. But Richardson needs those Trey Lance live fire snaps.
Richardson and Trey Lance are pretty good comps.
Yeah.
And like you're going to need to find out. And I think Richardson's a guy you give a little bit more time to, because the thing is, he's not going to show up day one and be ready to go. I think they knew that when they drafted him, but you've got to figure out what you've got.
And
you've already lost 1 year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So this, I get throwing him out there, man, you're going to get beat up and you might not be throwing the ball or afraid to throw it or whatever that we're hearing from the Bengals defense. But this, I got to see. You're going to have to take some rough and tumble games because we lost a year and we have to speed the timeline up. I play him and I don't even hesitate about it because you know what? He's already lost a year to injury. I got to see if he's injury prone too. There's a lot of things I got to learn about him, and that's the guy that I go play. And by the common reasoning, he's the guy you shouldn't play. He's the guy that literally should not be in front of live fire until the basics are covered. We're not even sure he has the right physical. What's his throwing motion look like? Is it smooth? Does it need to be fixed? Because Trey Lance, we're years into it, and his throwing motion is still jacked up.
Yeah.
So I get playing guys like Lance and Richardson far more than I get playing guys like Drake May, even though I think we're putting Trey Lance and Anthony Richardson in situations where success is probably at about 40% if you're lucky.
Yeah.
This is 60% failure rate for guys that are physically they're gifted physically, but not fine-tuned, to be the quarterback. There's so much between here and there that the chances of failure are high, and I got to find out with Richardson.
And it's wild because the Colts are a team that the betting market, they seem to be kind of high on.
Well, they've done a pretty good job. They do their work. They draft good linemen and good defensive. They draft the right places, and they've got Taylor still there. They still have a little bit of protection, and they do have some skill at wide receiver. It's not a terrible situation, but I don't think that Anthony Richardson is going to help them, those other newly talented and newly added Colts, get any better. I think he's going to be the problem for them.
Yeah, their win total is at 8.5.
I'm shocked it's that high.
I am too. I like them under 8.5. My biggest concern with that is that Anthony Richardson gets hurt again, and they put Joe Flacco in.
Oh, is he the backup?
He's the backup. Oh yeah. I don't know who all is going to make their roster. They're like how many quarterbacks they'll carry, but Flacco's almost certainly the number 2, and they also have Sam Ehlinger and Keaton Slovis, the USC kid, is in camp, and Jason Bean from Kansas, all in camp. I don't know who's going to make it. But
That's wide open over there.
No doubt. All right, we'll be back. Hour number 3 of the Huddle coming up. We'll hear from Jared. It's the Morning Huddle 941 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is Jim Rome. Have a take, don't suck on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. KTFM Floresville.
Are you the cup is half empty or the cup is half full kind of person? Or are you my cup overflows kind of person? Ben Stein writes, I cannot tell you anything that in a few minutes will tell you how to be rich, but I can tell you how to feel rich, which is far better, let me tell you firsthand, than being rich. Be grateful. It's the only totally reliable get-rich-quick scheme. End of quote. There is more to gratitude than training ourselves to pay attention to what is going right in our lives. Gratitude is the sense of gladness you have that a gift has been given and it must be acknowledged. And that's the challenge, not just to see it, but to acknowledge it. And in so doing, gratitude changes you. One researcher reveals that gratitude expressing people experience higher positive emotions like optimism and enthusiasm while being protected from destructive impulses like resentment and bitterness. So here's the challenge. If you feel grateful, express it. This is Mark Absher with the MacArthur Park Church of Christ. Visit our church online at macarthurchurch.org. The MacArthur Park Church of Christ, connecting God and people.
Hi, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio representing people and families who've been injured in traffic collisions since 1994. The reason it's important to call me as soon as possible is the number of tricks and mistakes you can make, even up to talking to insurance companies, which I'm going to tell you not to do. And also some of the billing practices at our local hospitals. And over the last year, I've seen more and more of this, where hospitals are asking patients to assign benefits they do not have to assign, all in an effort to get more money to the hospital than they would receive if all you used was your health insurance. When you call, I will give you your options. We'll talk about your case. And all of that is free of charge. If you or a family member has been injured in a traffic accident, whether car, commercial truck, motorcycle, I want you to call me as soon as possible after the collision. My number, 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or go to my website at alawyer4us.com.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. They'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-714-8422. 800-714-8422. 800-714-8422.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MBA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
We're here to tell you about Listing Spark, a new way to sell your San Antonio area home. Listing Spark uses superior technology and customer service to sell your home faster at a fraction of the cost of an old school real estate brokerage. For a low flat fee, the Listing Spark team finds your perfect list price, takes high quality photos, delivers a yard sign and a showing lockbox, lists your property on the local MLS, markets it to all major real estate websites, handles buyer inquiries, and coordinates showings. You can view buyer offers through Listing Spark's portal, then accept, reject, or counteroffer with just a few clicks. You only pay a small $395 fee to get started, then only $2,600 only if your property sells, and you can cancel anytime. Save tens of thousands of dollars in commissions. Isn't this the way selling a house should be? Get started today by calling 800-MLS-LIST or go to listingspark.com. That's listingspark.com. Listing Spark. Sell your home the smart way.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. We're still working trouble spots at 35 northbound at Tupperwine. This wreck in the left lane is causing massive delays. It's about 50 minutes. It is heavy from Rittiman Road. On Loop 14 eastbound at Babcock, that wreck in the right lane. Actually, now it's off to the right shoulder, still causing a 40-minute delay, heavy from Military Drive. 35 southbound Weidner got an accident taking up the left lane, and a stall at 35 northbound Schwab Road, now off to the shoulder. Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
94.1 FM, San Antonio Sports Center.
The Dallas Cowboys added defensive trench depth by signing defensive tackle Linville Joseph to a one-year, $4 million contract. The Bernie Little League beat the Mountain Regional champs out of Nevada 5-2 as they are moving on to the U.S. Little League World Series final Saturday at 2:30. And in local news, longtime TV voice of the San Antonio Spurs, Bill Land, announced his retirement ahead of the 24-25 season after 21 years with the Spurs. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Here we go. We're back on the Morning Huddle. The internet's working again. If you're the YouTubing type, come back. We're sorry.
Well, Wi-Fi's still out, but we're on.
No, ours is good.
Oh, we're good now?
Yeah, we're rocking and rolling, baby.
Okay.
Yeah, you can turn off your
I don't want to switch it.
Well, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're
Okay.
we're back in the good. So that's always a nice thing. Jara, I don't know if Jara gets tired of talking to the media.
No, never.
But he's probably tired of talking about CeeDee Lamb, would be my guess. And of the clips that we got with Jara talking, I want to say, I don't know. We got 11 clips. I'm seeing was 1, 2, 3 of them were about CD. And a couple more were about Dak. Like that's all. I mean, that's all people are asking him about, which, you know, it kind of makes sense. That's what everybody's wondering about. They asked him first if there was still concern that the CD deal would not get done.
No, and I don't mean that to be insensitive to our fans or to CD, but we're in good shape there, and we are having our promising talks. Say, well, why you keep talking? Won't you do something? Again, as in anything, it takes both of you there at the same time. But I believe it's got the proper amount of everything, emphasis, importance for everybody involved here, and we'll see how it goes.
And he said one more thing, and I thought this was, I do agree with him on this. When he talked about why he's confident that they're close with CD.
Again, no update as far as any near. I think that again, we wouldn't have be where we are with our numbers if we weren't planning on signing.
You don't offer a guy $33 million a year if you don't plan on eventually getting the job done, right?
No, no.
Like because
it's too much for a chess piece. So no, you're right.
Like saying we'll make you the second highest paid player in or wide receiver in football is not it's not an unserious offer that the Cowboys made.
Mm-hmm.
Had the Cowboys offered him 28 and he would have been like the 10th paid high or wide receiver, I'd say, oh, they're just trying to tell him they don't want him. They offered him more than any wide receiver in history not named Justin Jefferson has been offered. That's a very serious offer. And Jerry's right. They wouldn't make that offer if they weren't serious about getting this signing done.
But the offer, now we're getting lost in the offer and the value of the offer.
And the length of the offer.
And the length of the offer. And what we keep hearing, we heard it yesterday from CD's agent, is not notorious, but likes to sign his clients to shorter term deals to let them, stay current with the pay structure. So we know that by what we're hearing, that CD is going to want a shorter contract. That's probably a point of contention because we know the Cowboys like long-term deals so they can take money, add money, do what they can later in the contract to help them sign other players. So we know that's a sticking point.
Yeah.
And then we know that the guaranteed money is now is always the most important part of the contract. So we know that's probably a sticking point too, especially that guaranteed money at the end of the contract as opposed to the beginning of the contract. That's where the separation is. I think that they both have agreed on whatever the total value is. I bet they're within distance of agreeing that that part of the offer is good. I get the sense that we all know it's right in there at 33 or whatever that number is. So that's out. So you get the sense that we are now just talking about how long is this contract going to last and when am I going to get the most of my money? Is it going to be early or is it going to be late? And that's one of those things that can change with a whim, with a commercial, with, just CD goes, you know what, screw it. I'm happy. Let's go. I'm signing it. Let's go to work. It could happen just like that when we're to the point where dollar values are agreed upon. And all we're talking about is when am I going to get it and how much am I going to get of it early? That kind of stuff. That's why you keep hearing everybody's optimistic because literally it's CD going, all right, I'm good. I'm tired of this. And it could happen that quick because he's going to get that dollar amount, whatever that number is, wherever they have arrived at between Jefferson and Chase and all these guys. They know where to be. They know. So does CD want to be a Cowboy for 5 years or 6 years for a little bit more? Or will he take a little bit less and guaranteed and all that for a shorter deal? That's where CD is sitting right now.
Well, they also asked Jerry what the latest is on the other big negotiation, and that would, of course, be Dak Prescott.
Well, again, we're just continuing to talk, and the thing is there that since we're really in season, we're practicing, we're doing all those things, operating under his existing contract, which is really good. One of the things that I would like for our fans to really understand is that 9 times out of 10, these are existing contracts that you have in place. And you should be able to operate under those. But we've gotten it now in the NFL. Other teams are dealing with it where with time on the contract, you still might have a contract discussion. And that's what we're doing. But none of us, player or teams, want it to hurt the preparation or the likelihood of playing at your best opening day.
Now, that doesn't really fit with Dak.
No, different scenario entirely
because
here.
Like to say that you should be able to, Dak, to me, Dak is handling this about as well as you could ask Dak to handle it. Dak is on the last year of his deal. He cannot be franchised. So Dak knows this is it for him. Like it's either the Cowboys are going to re-sign him or he can pack up and leave right after they lose a playoff game and go wherever he's going to get signed to. To say that he's not operating or that, we have contracts in place, we should be operating under those contracts. Dak is certainly operating under the contract you signed him to.
Right.
Now, if you want to say that about CD, that's different. But to say that about Dak, I think is unfair to Dak. Dak, to me, is doing everything that he can do.
Well, Dak doesn't have to do anything.
You're right. I mean, Dak's in good position.
And he is here for an entirely different reason than CD is. CD is just playing out a deal. This is one of these things for Dak that has been in the works for It should have been fixed. It should have been done. Dak's got to do nothing but go out, take snap, keep a pulse and upright, and he is going to make the kind of money that people just, he knows it's there. So why would he be upset? Why would he want to quibble? And another thing, why the hell would he want to negotiate during the regular season? I mean, when the season begins, I'm not going to talk to you again. And the next time I talk to you, I'll be reading other offers.
Another guy they asked Jerry about was Zeke Elliott, who we haven't really talked about much this offseason, but I think most of us expect Zeke to be kind of a shell of what Zeke was in his first run with the Cowboys. But they asked Jerry what he thinks about Zeke.
You see the power, and you know what is there. He is the first one to tell you he wanted to get in better football shape during the camp. He doesn't need to learn how to hit anybody or didn't need to learn how to punish a defensive back or a linebacker. He knows how to do that. We don't need to see that. We know that he understands the system. He's very good at that. All of those things are there. We don't need to see what Dak can do in a one-on-one tackling drill out here. I mean, Zeke.
Who? I mean, Zeke. Yeah, we definitely don't need to see what Dak can do in a one-on-one tackling drill. Do you think Jerry really believes that Zeke has juice left?
No.
I don't think so either.
No.
Like, I think you notice what he didn't talk about? I think he can still run fast. Didn't say that. I still think he can break tackles. Didn't say that. I still think he can avoid tackles. Didn't say that. I don't think he thinks he can. Boy, this Cowboys running back room is so bleak.
It is, but this was by design. This is not the product that is a surprise to Jerry and Steven. This is the room they put together.
Because everyone was saying there was a lot of pressure on them on draft day to draft the running back. And they kept saying, nope. And you're right. I don't know if in hindsight they would have, but no, I don't think they would have. I think this is what they wanted. And I don't know why this is what they wanted, but this is what they wanted. And here's the next clip is Jerry talking about the O-line. And maybe they think that the O-line is enough of a strength that they can get away with kind of a mishmash at running back.
But pointedly, I'm excited about our offensive line, and I'm excited about the individual players. I'm excited about the depth there. I'm excited about the youth there, all of that. And that's critical. It's vital to us to have the running game the other night. I know it was preseason, but I was impressed with the way we pushed around the team the other night. And not to take anything away from Oakland, but that was a good matchup for our offensive line there early. And I like the way we held ourselves accountable. So, but our offensive line is the thing that would come to my mind as what I'm probably got at front, but they're up.
I think that is maybe why they feel okay about the running back room, is because they do think that offensive line is good enough that it's going to cover up not having a lot of talent back there.
And, they have survived. Pollard was a good, serviceable NFL back.
He was.
I mean, but not last year.
He was still better than anybody else in this room was last year.
But they didn't, it didn't feel, you're right. But because Pollard really wasn't what, he was the year prior, that they had an offense that was MVP quality for their quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't think they felt like it was a necessary thing, that they could find the guys to catch it in the flat. And when they needed 3.5 to 4 yards for that first down, you notice what Jerry brought up first. Notice his power. He didn't bring up speed or, agility or anything else with Zeke. So they got a guy in flat. They got a guy with the power, and Malik might be able to do some. And they went and got a Royce that looks a lot like slow Zeke, so they went and they got guy can do the things that they think they're going to need to do with a running back and nothing more.
I think you're right. And listen, man, there's some teams who need running backs more, some teams who need running backs less. Dallas strikes me as a team who were almost at 60% pass play last year. And that's a lot for a winning team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when you look at for instance, here's the list of the top 10 teams in pass play percentage last year. And what you're going to notice is there's not a lot of teams that were medium good last year. They were either garbage or they were like elite offenses, because the garbage teams are chasing, they're throwing from behind. And then the elite offenses are these teams that have quarterbacks that you don't need to run the ball. Washington had the highest percentage of plays. They were garbage. 66% of their plays were pass plays because they were down almost exclusively. Cincinnati, 63. Minnesota, 63. Jets, 63. They struggled last year. They were playing from behind a lot. Seattle and the Chargers were 61. Kansas City was 60. Carolina, 59. Jacksonville, 59. New England, 59. Dallas, 59. Like that. So when you're one of the, like, again, Kansas City, it doesn't matter who's playing running back for them. They drafted a guy in the first round who ended up really not being able to play, and it didn't matter because they found some other random dude. Isaiah Pacheco, you come on, you try. When you've got a quarterback who does what Mahomes does, or, you know, what Dak did last year, what we've seen Justin Herbert do in his career, it doesn't really matter who's behind him. I think the Chargers were so willing to let Austin Eckler walk away. They don't want to be a running football team, you know, because when you invest 20% of your salary cap in a quarterback, why the hell are you going to have him handed off all the time? It doesn't make much sense.
Right.
So I think that's why, as long as you've got a good offensive line, you can kind of be cheap at that position. And that seems like the route that the Cowboys are trying to go.
Which ain't going to help. I mean, I can't get back to, again, Jerry, this is his all in. This was all by design. All of it.
One more clip from Jerry on basically where it's going to be tough to cut the fat. When you get down to 53, what's the tough decisions you got to make?
Well, you can count your numbers. Receivers tough, tight ends tough. We've got some numbers in that secondary. So those are ones that are some people that we're going to have to really scratch our head.
Tight end is an interesting one. Because we talked about this off air, Rob. Like they're almost stuck with this Schoonmaker. But they've got, I mean, Ferguson's obviously the top tight end there. You know they're going to hold on to Schoonmaker. That John Stevens is coming back from an ACL. It looks like Peyton Hendershot is probably gone, and that's it. You know, like I said they're going to keep John Stevens. That's kind of an assumption. I don't know. They may just keep two guys, but it seems like they don't have. They went into that without much competition.
I think Stevens might be in trouble. Hendershot had a pretty decent game against the Raiders, and they've been putting him out there like, dude, if you don't make plays, you are going to get cut. And he went out and made some plays, he along with Deuce Vaughn early in that game. So
Stevens has 5 catches in the preseason.
I agree, but Stevens wasn't as high a draft pick as Schoonmaker.
That's
and
true.
You're always going to err to the side of I made the right decision early than the right decision late. And I think if it's even, Schoonmaker keeps the gig.
Yeah. Wide receiver is obviously going to be tough. Like, you know, it's CD, Cooks, Tolbert.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Kevontae Turpin, Jalen Brooks, and Ryan Flournoy. Is that what your best guess is, or do you think it's Cropper or T. Billy?
I think Flournoy and T. Billy seem to be the two guys that have the inside track. But Flournoy made a couple good catches yesterday in practice that I saw highlighted. That might be the thing that makes the team for him.
All right. On the other side, let's swing into some college football. Ryan Day. I want to talk about this, Rob. Is Ryan Day on the hot seat, and does it make sense? And as someone who is very familiar with how important it is to beat your rivals in college football, does that put Ryan Day in an awkward position? It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You know, right now, there are people that did not take a shower under a Connecticut water softened shower. Right now, there are people in San Antonio that are using sub-quality water softeners, that they're not getting the full treatment that they're paying for. I feel sorry for them, but I can tell you what, there's an opportunity for them right now. If you want a Kinetico, if you've ever thought about getting the very best water softener you can find in this part of the world, now's your chance. If you'll remember this number, 656 Pure, you'll be dialing Kinetico San Antonio, and they will come out as fast as possible and put a Kinetico in your home with no cost, no ask for anything other than you get the opportunity for 90 days to try it out for yourself. So you can see for yourself, like the rest of us, you have exactly what you need to protect your house, all of your appliance, and all of that. 656 Pure. You need more details, KineticoSA.com for all that you need. Let me tell you, you get a Kinetico, it's protecting your pipes, it's protecting your appliances, it's saving your ice flavor, it is making sure that your skin isn't dry, your hair isn't drying out, and all the things that go along with a sub-quality or less than perfect water softener. Kinetico's been mine for a long, long time. Make them yours. Call them today, 656 Pure. You'll have a Kinetico in your home in no time, and you'll be like the rest of the cool kids, and I know you'll be thanking me later.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, we are live from Las Vegas. No telling what's going to happen here at Circa.
And no telling what we already can't talk about, because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. We'll give you the latest on the Cowboys as they leave Oxnard and talk Texans with John McClain at 5:15. The Blitz from Circa Las Vegas starting at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is the famous footwear that makes us actually want to go back to school, with the newest styles from all your favorite brands like Nike, Adidas, Crocs, Converse, New Balance, Birkenstock, and more. You'll find everything kids want, all at prices parents can appreciate, because you don't have to overspend to make it famous. Famous Footwear even has fit experts in store to make sure you get the right size every time. So for the perfect fit, make it famous. Plus, right now, buy one, get one half off when you shop your local Famous Footwear or famous.com. Some exclusions apply.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again. It's like music to your ears, or more like music to your nose. That freshness is irresistible. Let's get a Downy Unstoppables bottle shake. And now a sniff solo. Nice. With Downy Unstoppables, you just toss, wash, wow, for all-day freshness.
Hi, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio representing people and families who've been injured in traffic collisions since 1994. The reason it's important to call me as soon as possible is the number of tricks and mistakes you can make, even up to talking to insurance companies, which I'm going to tell you not to do. And also some of the billing practices at our local hospitals. And over the last year, I've seen more and more of this, where hospitals are asking patients to assign benefits they do not have to assign, all in an effort to get more money to the hospital than they would receive if all you used was your health insurance. When you call, I will give you your options. We'll talk about your case. And all of that is free of charge. If you or a family member has been injured in a traffic accident, whether car, commercial truck, motorcycle, I want you to call me as soon as possible after the collision. My number, 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or go to my website at alawyerforus.com.
How about them Cowboys? Jim Beam bringing fans together across Cowboys country. We rise as one in Texas in handed down silver and blue jerseys. We come together for America's team every time they take the field. So let's share a round of Jim Beam highballs on game day in Cowboys country. 40% alcohol by volume. Copyright 2024 James B. Beam Distilling Company, Claremont, Kentucky. Drink smart.
Hormones can affect everything. Bad skin, bad hair, low energy, poor sleep, brain fogginess, libido, and weight gain. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and we take a functional approach to your hormone problems. Eating right and exercise will not be beneficial without optimal hormone function. This goes for men and women. We do state-of-the-art testing to get to the root of your hormone issues and help you get well and stay well. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health. We can help. 210-468-1891.
We all expect our home to protect everything we love. But here in Texas, we don't expect the ways water is breaking down our foundations and damaging our homes. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is shifting. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Foundation Support Specialists. Make sure your investment is protected. Get your free inspection at foundationsupportspecialists.com.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Fall Golf Classic is back. Monday, September 30th at Olympia Hills Golf Club. Get your slot now. $120 per person or $400 per foursome. The Fall Golf Classic, benefiting San Antonio sports, is presented by the Law Office of Jesse Hernandez, the Texas Chungla, sponsored in part by Jim Beam, PPL Motorhomes, Flight by Yingling, Tomalitos Mexican Restaurant. The Fall Golf Classic, happening Monday, September 30th. Sign up now at sasportstar.com. You're locked on the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
It's showtime.
It's showtime. Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Ryan Day is the coach at Ohio State, the Ohio State University, some would call it. He is 56-8 in his time at Ohio State. I mean, Rob, if I told you right now in Mike Elko's first 64 games, he's going to go 56-8. Would you take that?
Yeah. Who does he lost to?
Well, that's sort of the problem.
That's my question.
3 of those losses, of his 8 losses, have come against the University of Michigan. And he's 1-3 against Michigan and has lost 3 straight. He hasn't won a national title and he hasn't won the game. And now it feels like we've got a guy who's 56-8 who is kind of on the hot seat in Ohio.
Which is why coaches hate rivalry games.
Oh my goodness. It feels like, so here's what he says, or this is what the Ross Bjork, the Ohio State AD, says.
Formerly Aggie.
A former Aggie. We know the expectations. We know it's there, but we got 11 games and then we got to play that one. And then there's going to be a bigger prize after that we're going to shoot for. So I think you just have to recognize it. You're not going to shy away from it. And I don't think anybody's shying away from it. Like I think when you take the job there, you kind of know. And I would guess now, I mean, and I want to put it into Texas perspective with Texas and A&M now having this rivalry rekindled. I imagine in the days when A&M might have gone 6-6, if they beat Texas A&M, you didn't really mind them going 6-6.
Both sides. I think that what saves a bad year is beating your rival. It happens for Texas. It happens for OU. It happens for Oklahoma State, OU. I mean, you can be 1-9, but if that one is the one, that'll keep you at least in the conversation. And that'll save a gig too. That's a double-edged sword.
And the problem is for Ohio State, they've been good. They've just been the second best. And so it feels like they're knocking on the door and, Ohio State fans like, man, we should have a chance to win a national title here. But they can't even get into the dance because they keep losing to Michigan.
That's not going anywhere.
Well, no,
Coach Day knew that when he took the gig, but the problem is no matter how good you get, there's going to be more expectations. And not only did Alabama stay on top, but Alabama consistently beat Auburn. But if Alabama was staying on top and was losing to Auburn, Saban would have been under the same kind of sweat. Same kind of sweat.
Well, remember Auburn won a national title in 2010. They almost won one a few years later. They were giving Alabama trouble because once Alabama got good, Auburn went and got Gene Chizik and they got Gus Malzahn, and it was like a defensive, a guy that was at the time considered a defensive genius and an offensive genius. They also happened to luck box into Cam Newton,
right?
And they gave Alabama some trouble early on. Now Alabama righted the ship, and now you see a lot more. And most rivalries are one-sided. That's the way it generally works. It's rare that like a Texas-Oklahoma rivalry they go in bursts,
right?
And it's rare to find one that's like 50-50 over the years. The truth is, this Ohio State-Michigan rivalry has been one-sided for a long time, and now we're in a 3-year blip. there's gonna be these things happen when you're Ohio State. You're gonna lose 3 in a row. Michigan's not some junk program. They're freaking Michigan football. You've beat them I think they beat them 14 out of 16 or something like that before this 3 in a row. It's not the end of the world. I know there's other reasons they don't like Ryan Day. Ohio State fans don't particularly like Ryan Day, but I think if they fire Ryan Day because he loses to Michigan 3 times, they'd be making a pretty big mistake.
The good news is if you stay around long enough, you'll eventually start winning. And now Harbaugh's gone. Apart from over the last decade, Ohio State's been the second best football program in the country. For a while, it was Alabama, and they were second. Now it's Georgia, and they're second. But they have been the preeminent program in the Big Ten up until last year for a decade. They have put out number 1 draft pick quarterbacks. They have Heisman quality players. They have done everything the way that they should do it. And it still caused their AD to leave. Their AD still left last year.
Yeah.
And they still have not reached the top of the mountain for long enough. Now, this year, they should march their way to the Big Ten title, head their way in and pounce Michigan, and all will be right with the world with Ryan Day for a year. But this is never going to go away, and Ryan Day will eventually get fired because he lost to Michigan. Every coach at Ohio State, that's what happened. And coaches at Michigan, they get fired because they lost to Ohio State. That's why you lose your job up there.
I think back to, and we talked about this off the air yesterday, when Texas was losing annually to Texas A&M, like this was like the mid 80s into the early 90s. There was a run where A&M beat Texas 10 out of 11 years in a row. And the one win that Texas had was a 1-point win. And that was McWilliams and Makovic, who are looked at as 2 of the biggest failures in Texas's coaching history because of what they did against Texas A&M. And John Makovic was he was a pretty good coach, but he wasn't a very likable person, much like Ryan Day. But nobody felt bad when he got canned because he wasn't beating the Aggies.
Right.
And then when Mac Brown showed up and suddenly it looked like, it was back to Big Brother. That literally makes your career. And at Texas, you beat Aggie and you beat Sooner. It doesn't matter what else you do. It really doesn't. Last year, I think Sark felt this last year when they lost to Oklahoma in a year that they made the playoff. They lost the OU game, and he was still catching grief for it. Like, as the season went on, he's like, "Hey, we're in position to really do something here, and you guys are still talking about this game that happened 6 weeks ago." But that's the life when you've got one of these big time rivalries, and it's almost better not to have them in a way.
There's this generation of Aggies that are about to experience. And Texas has always had the OU rival and had to, deal with losing and that and the pride of winning. There's 15 years of Aggie that hadn't had to deal with this.
Yeah.
And when you say sometimes it's better not to have it, there's going to be a lot of people thinking that after this year. But it's better.
I think it's better.
The world is better. Now, there's some interesting when we talk about these kind of rivalries. And Ohio State and Michigan. The thing about Ohio State, Michigan is 1 year you're in the big house, and another year you're dotting the I there in Columbus. You're going, you're at the horseshoe, you're the big house, you're going back and forth, and it matters. You look forward 2 times during your 4-year career, you're going to go there, 2 times you're going to stay here. And A&M and Texas was always that. Texas A&M and Texas and OU was always let's meet in between. You think of Georgia, Florida, meet in between, neutral site, half the stadium, which has its own allure. It appears that today there's word that both Del Conte and Trev Alberts, the 2 ADs from Texas and Texas A&M, they're in Houston today. Not threatening. They're going to offer a big announcement. Now, we don't know what it is, but the scuttlebutt has been Texas A&M will move to Houston. and it'll be a game played
permanently or like a one-time thing.
Well, I don't know, and this might not be what the announcement is, but I'm just when you say this, and the two ADs are meeting in a city, where that doesn't host a rivalry game other than what's the Stephen F. Sam Houston game that they don't have
Battle of the Piney Woods.
The Piney Woods thing. You know that Jerry tried to manufacture this rivalry game at A&M and Arkansas in Jerry World. I know that Texas would love to get a home game, and it would be a home game in Houston once a year. Oh, can you imagine the number of Texas alums that get the opportunity? Same way with A&M, but I think it's more important for Texas to go to Houston.
But you know what?
They're going to announce.
Texas has done this a few times. Is they'll play a home game at NRG against Rice or something like that.
This ain't Rice. This is Texas A&M. And this, if they do announce what people are thinking, it won't happen immediately because I think, Texas would like A&M to come to Austin next year too. But in a couple of years, it wouldn't shock me a bit to see whatever we're going to call this new thing played in Houston on a regular basis there at Reliant. I
don't want that.
But I get the sense that both schools are going to be offered a ridiculous amount of money to go do it.
And that sucks for Texas fans because you already have one
game away,
that's not a home game that you've got to give up every other year. That's not really. It's almost like the Jags. They get shorted a home game every year.
And the Spurs get shorted for.
Yeah.
I mean, there's ramifications for these actions. I'm not saying that that's for sure. That's just rumor. We'll know more later today, but you get the sense that this is the thing is coming.
And I wonder, like, how would it be? I wonder, would they do the ticket split?
I figure it'd be half-half. I don't know how else you could begin to manufacture it otherwise.
I mean, you could do it like a 75-25 and take turns. Like that way, one's your home year, one's your road year. But
you'd want it like OU. You'd like one side orange, one side maroon. Let's have some fun. That's the only way to do it.
Man, that's that would be a bummer to me. I hope that's not the case.
It would eliminate the accessibility, but it would turn it into the kind of event that would be in its build-up in the city that it's in. It would be the singular biggest sporting event of that day, and we're talking about the day of or the day after Thanksgiving. And maybe they're talking about a new date. Maybe they'll play on Thanksgiving Day. I don't know, but I just get the sense that we're going corporate on this, and they're going to be sharing a field, and we're going to go big time with. Brought to you by the Fertitta family or somebody in Houston that's going to fund this.
Because it's funny, when Texas and OU, I don't love that they. I don't want them to play it anywhere other than the Cotton Bowl. Like, there's something to the Cotton Bowl that, like, okay, I see why I see why they do it. The year that they did it in Arlington, I said if they're going to do this. They might as well go home and home because it just wasn't the same environment. I mean, it's not like this is some cool historic stadium in Houston. It's a big mega NFL stadium.
This would be. It has nothing to do with meeting in between. It's not halfway. It has nothing to do with the state fair and all that's meant. That if it was, and I'm not saying that this has happened. I'm just going off of rumor. If it does come to pass, it would be purely a money grab. It would be taking opportunity from fans to go see the game live because not only are you cutting it in half, you're cutting it in more than that because each of these Aggie and Longhorn home fields hold over 100,000 people. Reliant isn't even close to that. What, about 70? High end, maybe
70, 72, 73.
70, yeah. So you figure 36 of that goes to your school where you're used to at least every other year having 100,000 or maybe 90,000 with 10,000 given to the other team.
Yeah.
Even that math doesn't add up. It takes 3 years to get all the fans in that building.
Let's play it halfway between Austin and College Station and Giddings.
We'll go to Giddings, maybe Bastrop.
Yeah.
Playing that Bastrop Stadium there right off 21. Yep. That'd be a nice little get-together. Yeah. They got some park in there, a little bit of room, a couple hotel rooms around Bastrop.
It's the only fair way to do it. All right. Let's hit it, and when we come back, we'll get into some Big 12 football. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Have you been to your menu place? Have you picked out what you're going to cook all weekend long? If you have, you already know what you need. Head over to Tri-County and pick it up. If you haven't, that's the way I like to head over to either one of the Tri-County meat markets. I let the meat market talk to me. I figure out what's inside that cold case, and I adapt accordingly because, my goodness, what a spread. When the weekend comes, they got it all stacked deep. If you're looking for the best steak you can make, they got every version you can chase. Porterhouse, strips, bone in, bone out, 1.5 inch, 2 inch, whatever you like, they got it. You need one of those big roasts to serve on a Sunday afternoon, nothing prettier than one of the roasts that they've got cut for you. Or maybe it's the prepared food for a fast cook. Maybe you look some fajitas. There's both beef or chicken. Maybe you just want some dry sausage to cook real fast with some good crunchy bread and some mustard. They've got that too. And to add to your grilling game, they got the rubs, they got the charcoal, they've got the pellets, and everything you need to up your grilling game. They say it. I absolutely believe it. A great meal starts with great meat coming from Tri-County Meat Market. Both locations waiting on you over on Huebner, out on Ralph Fair. Take advantage of the 5 for 25. Get your name on the email list so you're not having to rely on me to tell you what the specials are. Head over to Tri-County today, and I know you're going to thank me later.
San Antonio Sports Star.
With a true Vegas feel, the Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. From high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone, including blackjack tournaments. From the owners of the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant, the Big Blind is locally owned and operated, offering daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 and Redland Road.
As fall approaches, you have a lot to prepare for. Back to school, sporting events, family gatherings, and staying on top of your health. The virus that causes COVID-19 continues to evolve. So this fall, no matter what you're prepping for, you can prioritize your family's health and make a game plan for COVID-19 vaccination. Ask your doctor or pharmacist to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off Duration products and Super Deck stains from August 23rd through the 26th. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your bedroom, living room, or home office, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Football season is finally here, friends, and it's time to jump into the Prize Picks play. It's America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Heck, there's over 5 million active users. I'm one of them. You should jump in today. Use your fantasy knowledge to go win some serious money. Know your players' stats. You've been playing them before. Put them to work. Is Zeke going to get 90 yards? Is Stephon Diggs going to get over 100? Play your game. Pick your more. Pick your less, but go pick them. That's Prize Picks. Go play them today. It's easy. Use the code Alamo. Download the app, and you've got $100 just waiting for you. That's code Alamo on the Prize Picks for a deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks, run your game. Head over to Prize Picks right now and use that knowledge. If it's football season, Prize Picks is the place to be. It's the best way to win real money this football season. It's Prize Picks. Go download it today. Alamo for $100. There's money waiting on it. Use your knowledge. Go win some more with the code Alamo and Prize Picks. And tell them Rob sent you.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by September 2nd, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Limited time. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Hi, this is Joe Reinagel for my friends at Stevens Roofing, your local roofer. You know, summer is here, and that means long, hot days for everyone and everything, including your roof. Our hot Texas sun pounding down can degrade and age your roof. So for residential or commercial service, you need a reliable roofer you can trust and afford. That's Stevens Roofing. Online at stevensroofing.net or call them at 210-785-0994. That's 210-785-0994 for Stevens Roofing.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. We are working trouble spots on 35 northbound at Walsham, northeast side of town. That's an accident. Left lane blocked. On I-10 frontage road eastbound, the on-ramp from Foster Road district is blocking the entrance ramp. On the northwest side at I-10 frontage road westbound Hildebrand, that's a stall, right lane. And on the west side, 410 eastbound Military over to Vance Jackson. Traffic rolling stop and go should take you about 10-12 minutes to get through. Debbie Alcacer, KTSA. Time saver traffic.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
A little college football news here. Texas got themselves a running back. I don't know how they did this. I thought all the transfer portal window frames were closed, but apparently not. Former SMU running back Velton Gardner is transferring to Texas ahead of the 2024 season.
Yeah, I don't know the loophole they found, but I'm all for it.
They found it. Obviously, Texas lost two guys, including their projected starter in Baxter, and Gardner is a Dallas Skyline kid. He's as Rob calls him, a Skyline type. He hit the portal as a grad transfer. Maybe that's why, because he's graduated in February after 2 seasons at SMU. He was at Kansas before that. And he ran for 505 yards, 2 touchdowns at SMU. And he had various offers from D1 programs, including Texas Tech and Houston, and decided to head down to Austin to help out Bevo, who's a program in need.
I don't think there's any reason to be worried. It's not good news that they're having to go find a dude off the heap to go just fill the running back room. But Texas is deep. The running game wasn't going to be preeminent in there, but it's going to play a role. We'll wait and see. I'm not worried about the Texas offense, but if there does show to be a deficit there, it will only be magnified as the season goes on.
Yeah. We've talked about almost every football conference so far, and we haven't talked about the new look Big 12. We've it's not as sexy.
Back in the day, and I'm trying to remember the teams when Conference USA was first kind of put together, and you had like Louisville in there, and Memphis, and a couple other kind of showboat teams that were fun to watch. That you kind of tuned into a Conference USA game because you knew might not know anybody that's playing, but it's going to be an entertaining football game.
Yeah,
that's the Big 12 now. This is going to be, because you're not going to know anybody that's playing. Yeah, I don't know who the hell's playing for Baylor or Tech or Utah.
You know who you do know? You know who's playing for Colorado.
Right. And that's it. But for the most part, this, that every team in the Big 12 is offensive minded. They're going to go out and they're going to try to hang at the minimum 30 points a game. They want a touchdown a quarter and find a field goal in there. And they're going to try not to necessarily outscore you, but to keep up with the Joneses. We know that going in. And there is no separator other than we know that the team that can find the defense the first will probably be the best. And it looks like Utah is the team that can find their defense the first. But, man, if you ask me in 3 weeks after the season begun, I don't think we have any idea what this season could look like.
Yeah, Vegas has they have it as a 2-horse race, really. Utah and Kansas State. Utah plus 320, Kansas State plus 380 are your 2 favorites. After that, it's a big jump.
Yeah.
So Oklahoma State is plus 750. Central Florida is 9-1. And then Kansas and Iowa State are plus 950. Yeah, Oklahoma State's interesting because they were good last year. It's and really all the talk you hear about Oklahoma State anymore is Mike Gundy bitching about NIL or whatever. It's never anything really about his football team, but they sneakily have kind of gotten back to near the top of the heap in that program.
I'll tell you what, A&M hadn't done a lot of things right over the years, but one of the things they did do right was their acclimation to the SEC and acclimatizing themselves to the conference and the society that is the SEC. They extricated themselves from the attachment to Texas, and it was the best thing that ever happened to A&M.
You think it was?
Oh, let me tell you. I was talking to a couple of Aggies yesterday, old Ags, and we were talking about the Texas game and the possibility of it being in Houston. And a guy that was of my age that was there during the 10 of 11 year win, when it was Texas was just, we were more worried about Arkansas. There were other issues at play. And he described Texas as the beautiful ex-girlfriend that had a coke problem that you left 15 years ago. Like, yeah, she's good looking, but my God, she spent me into the poorhouse. Everything she did was to ruin my life. And then suddenly she gets cleaned up 15 years later, and everybody's trying to put us back together again. And we want to go, don't you remember what this did to me? And you want us to date again? I think that Oklahoma State, given the opportunity, because I do feel like they had everything just yanked away from them, because they did. I mean, they were as second class or second younger brother, however you want to define Texas and Texas A&M. Oklahoma State, it's even more so.
Yeah,
I mean, it is King OU and Oklahoma State a distant second. This is the best thing that ever happened to Oklahoma State, and they don't even know it. They can't even figure out the fact that you no longer got Big Brother in the room. You don't have to deal with them, talk about them, see them. It is the most freeing experience if you can just set aside I hate them so much I can't stop thinking about them. I think Gundy, if you'll just shut up and stop complaining about the NIL, use the money you've got. You still got T. Boone Pickens money up there, just like Texas Tech. You guys are a big state school alone, and you have a huge opportunity to grow this program fast, because you can bring in recruits. Gundy coaches pros. He puts guys into the league. He always has a running back. Oklahoma State can get good so fast if they can just go, you know what? Oklahoma is the ex-girlfriend with a coke problem who finally went to rehab, and I'm divorcing her, and I'm done. And I'm not going to think about her, talk about it. I'm going to try to rebuild my life. I think if Gundy can do this over the next 3 or 4 years, they can take control of this conference, or at least hold on to this side of the conference.
I tend to agree. I do think the difference is when A&M left the Big 12
economies. I agree.
They went into an environment where there were other big time games for them to play. Now, when you look at Oklahoma State's schedule, what's the big game like to get excited about?
I'm not talking about national championship level football. I don't think Oklahoma State can do that, but every 3 or 4,
well, they've never done it.
Well, what I'm saying, every 4 classes, every 12 years, you never know. You can land a Barry Sanders. I mean, there's a way for them, especially with 12 teams, you get hot late. There's more opportunity. But I'm talking about becoming a consistent Big 12 conference contender where you're winning 8 games a year. You're scheduling a big time game, and every now and again, you're winning those things. That's where Oklahoma State should be aiming at. And I do think that they're closer than most in this conference. Certainly when you hear Central Florida,
yeah,
a directional school is picked with higher odds to win the conference than some of the inbred or ongoing schools in this conference. They've been around forever.
Yeah.
Central Florida, the opportunity for the Big 12 to become calling them the ABA, it's not a good thing, but to become the entertaining conference. What the Pac-12 had become for a minute, the crazy quarterbacks and big time scoring and all that. The Big 12 can do that as long as they continue to they're going to have to play some defense. You can't have 70 to 60 games on all of your conference games.
Well, I think the teams that play a little bit of defense are going to have a big advantage.
And I think schools like Utah, the big state school, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, the Arizona programs, they have the opportunity to get so much better, so much faster But the Utahs and the Arizona schools are going to lose talent. Those schools are going to suffer.
Yeah, because when a player gets good, they're going to go to either the Big Ten or the SEC.
Or they're going to come to Texas or do something else. They're going to lose talent out of the state because there is no there in Arizona. Every roadie is all the way to Texas. It's all the way over there. I'm just going to go there if that's where I'm going to spend half my time anyway.
Yeah. Well, listen, if you go to an Arizona school, you're not going for the football. You're going for something else.
You are going to play football. It wasn't your first choice unless you grew up in Scottsdale. But you're going to play, and if you're going to spend half your time on a flight to someplace where you might be better off playing full time anyway, I just think they're going to have a max drain on talent in Arizona. Utah's always going to get the scraps.
All right. Last hour of the program coming up. When we come back, ESPN ranked 1 through 32. The coaching staffs in the NFL.
I like this.
Where do you think the Cowboys fall? We'll talk about that. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You're locked on the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. KTFM Floresville.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Hey, Reverend Charles, will you give him direction to the church down in Miami?
You just turn right on the service road, go about 4 miles, and there's a big chicken statue. That's RuPaul's House of Chicken. They advertise on local TV in Miami. RuPaul would hold the box of chicken and say, "Honey, eat my chicken."
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Dave Ramsey here for pure, clean, soft water. Get a Connecticut water softener. You can try a Connecticut absolutely free for 90 days with no contract. Call Connecticut of San Antonio today at 210-656-PURE.
What if you could build a six-figure retirement income with almost half the money saved? You heard that right. Get a discount on your retirement, creating a six-figure income with 40% less than traditional 401ks and mutual funds. Hi, I'm Brett Kitchen, best-selling author, executive producer, and star in a brand new Hollywood documentary called The Retirement Deception. In this film, we traveled over 20,000 miles interviewing real Americans who've retired successfully with a great lifestyle and peace of mind. They share their stories on how they get more retirement income with the same dollars saved, and the money's never at risk if the market crashes. That's right. If the market crashes 30%, you lose nothing. Even the super wealthy are shifting money to this new strategy because it increases their retirement income or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you're over 50 and want a bigger, better retirement with less money saved, call to talk to a specialist and get a free copy of this brand new movie at 800-486-9595. This is a $30 value, but when you call today, you can get it completely free. I'll even cover shipping and handling, no credit card required. Call right now, 1-800-486-9595. That's 1-800-486-9595. Again, that's 1-800-486-9595.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-707-6152. 800-707-6152. 800-707-6152.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared.
and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9313. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9313. That's 800-575-9313. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Kick off fall with Labor Day deals happening now at Lowe's. Right now, buy one, get one free on select interior paint via Lowe's gift card rebate for your next paint project. Plus, don't miss out on select 1-pint annuals. Get 5 for only $5. Shop these can't-miss deals today before they're gone. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 9/4 while supplies last. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. We are working trouble spots on 35 northbound at Walsham, northeast side of town. That's an accident. Left lane blocked. On I-10 frontage road eastbound, the on-ramp from Foster Road, this wreck is blocking the entrance ramp. On the northwest side at I-10 frontage road westbound Hildebrand, that's a stall, right lane. And on the west side, 410 eastbound Military over to Vance Jackson. Traffic rolling stop and go should take you about 10-12 minutes to get through. Debbie Alcacer, KTSA. Time saver traffic.
San Antonio Sports Star. San Antonio Sports Center.
The Dallas Cowboys added defensive trench depth by signing defensive tackle Linval Joseph to a 1-year, $4 million contract. The Bernie Little League beat the Mountain Regional champs out of Nevada 5-2 as they are moving on to the U.S. Little League World Series final Saturday at 2:30. And in local news, longtime TV voice of the San Antonio Spurs, Bill Land, announced his retirement ahead of the 24-25 season after 21 years with the Spurs. I'm Rob Thompson for 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Ooh, final hour of Thursday, Rob.
Rounding into form.
Yeah. We're going to come back tomorrow and we're going to be like, yeah, it's Friday. Party time. Woo, yeah. I'm leaving straight from here on Friday.
Going to the
get my gamble on. I'm going to win that millie.
So if I don't see you on Monday,
you'll know why, bub.
You'll be in the wind.
Yep. I'll send you that text.
Well, you're gonna have to be back on Monday because Vic's gone on Monday.
It'll be you and Edwin.
Just me and Edwin holding down the fort.
That's it. Yeah, I'll send you a text like 3:30 like you did with me on Monday.
I'm not feeling well. I'm out. I'm not feeling well. I hit it.
My tummy hurts, man.
Yeah, I'm well rested though.
Yeah.
Got a day off out of it.
Well, that's why you've been so damn good. According to our bosses, I want to tell them, hey man, Vic and I've been working every day. Of course, fresh Rob's a little bit better than us.
Yeah, well rested.
ESPN put out a list today of the 32 best, ranking the 32 coaching staffs in the NFL, worst to best.
Why do they show McCarthy's picture on that?
Why do they?
Yeah, why? I think there's a lot of coaches out there. Why is his picture on the above the byline for the article?
I don't know.
I'm just,
who should they have selected?
I don't
they
know.
They said give us a coach who's won a Super Bowl.
Maybe Andy.
They didn't want to
might have been.
Well, they didn't want to give away who they had at number 1.
I think we all can kind of guess.
So this took into account the head coach and the offensive and defensive coordinators. So except for Tampa doesn't have a DC, San Francisco doesn't have an OC. I think there's one more, but the handful of teams that their head coach calls or just has full control of the offense or defense. The Kansas City Chiefs are number 1. Andy Reid, Matt Nagy, and Steve Spagnuolo. I don't know who else you could even argue for.
No, I mean, there's a lot of equals, but yeah, they deserve it. Yes.
Now, is there equal?
Well, I think if I look at Harbaugh in Baltimore, I think Shanahan, Harbaugh, Tomlin. I mean, given different circumstances, different styles, but they're all outstanding.
I love Shanahan. Got no rings. You can't talk to Andy Reid with no rings.
Truth.
Number 2 is maybe a surprise. The Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson, and Aaron Glenn. I love Ben Johnson. I thought Ben Johnson was going to be a head coach. He decided to stay in Detroit. I mean, I'm sure they're going to be rewarded nicely for it this year. And Ben Johnson, if he has remotely the success they had offensively a year ago, Ben Johnson is going to go somewhere and make himself a bunch of money as a head coach. I'm not like super high on Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell to me is like new school Mike Tomlin. He's a get your guys to run through a brick wall for you.
A rah-rah coach.
Yeah.
I thought he was a college coach trying to coach in the pros.
But I will say this. You're not gonna stay around for long when Sean Payton is your head coach. Like if Sean Payton has you working directly with him, and remember, he was Sean Payton's number 2 for a long time. Dan Campbell was in New Orleans. That doesn't happen if you're an idiot. And I know he comes across as like a big meathead. I think maybe he's a little smarter than he comes off, is what I'll say. Is that yeah.
Yeah,
because if he was a dummy, Sean Payton wouldn't have kept him around.
Back before Jason Garrett was hired, way back when, 12 years ago, the numbers escape me. Dan Campbell was a finalist for the Jason Garrett's position as the head coach for the Cowboys way back when. This is a long time ago where people were like, Dan Campbell, wasn't he like a GA with A&M? Didn't he just take off the helmet as a bad tight end for your Cowboy? I mean, he's been in the coaching circles for a long time. And when he finally got the opportunity with Detroit, I felt like he was bringing a college mentality. And he did. But I didn't understand, like you just said, what the modern NFL coach has to do. Yeah. And it's very different from what even Mike McCarthy had to do to win his title. Now the modern NFL coach has to be able to motivate young guys and teach young guys basic systems, because the quarterback's going to eat up 20% of your salary. So to make up for the money, you got to have a lot of young dudes set their hair on fire and go do some things without a whole lot of knowledge behind it. And Dan Campbell was the master of that. He's got a bunch of young guys that they'll run through walls for him. They might make mistakes while they're doing it, as we saw at the end of last season. But we know they're going to play hard for 60 minutes. And you get a good coach that can coach up your quarterback, or you get an old quarterback that doesn't need a whole lot of coaching up. You got 30% of your roster that's 2 years of experience or less, and you go motivate the crap out of them, and you put together a defense, which, by the way, another Aggie and Aaron Glenn, that can ball hawk the ball, and that's your success story. I think we're going to have more coaches like Dan Campbell, more of the guys that just get guys motivated, that get young, inexperienced players on the field and put them in position to be successful. I think that's the new era.
Number 3 is the team I would have had at number 2, Sean McVay and the Rams.
This is the other side of that coin.
This is like the genius, the boy wonder,
exactly.
Like understands football better than anybody in the room. And when you've got Mike LaFleur as your OC, you're in good shape. Their only knock right now is Chris Shula is the DC, and he's just an unknown commodity. Because Raheem Morris is now a head coach again, but this is certainly an elite staff. I love Sean McVay. I think he is an absolute genius, just like the head coach that comes in at number 4, Kyle Shanahan, defensive coordinator Nick Sorensen, no OC there. I don't think that. I think that's about as low as you could put them too. And then 5 is John Harbaugh with Todd Monken and Zach Orr.
Sean McVay coached the best, apart from a Super Bowl win, the best football game I've seen coached by a coach in the last 10 years. Baker Mayfield got off of a plane on Wednesday and won a game on Sunday.
Yep.
That's the best job I've ever seen on a 1-week turnaround. That's Sean McVay's genius right there.
Number 6, the Houston Texans. How about that? D'Amico Ryans, Bobby Slowick, and Matt Burke.
Dude, that's too quick, man. We got 1 year of an 8th place schedule. You know what I mean? Let's let this percolate just a little bit. Come on now. 8th? You've coached as a professional head football coach. You have, 20 games under your belt, 19 games under your belt that matter?
Yeah.
Come on, that's too quick. I'm sorry.
I
think
he's
worthy of.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the, what are those lists? The top 40 under 40 guys, like, man, we expect a lot from you. You had a good year, but to put him in the top third of this, no, too high.
Now, I do think Bobby Slowick isn't much like Ben Johnson, like one of these offensive gurus who's going to be a head coach.
But to put them come on.
7, Mike Tomlin, Arthur Smith, Terrell Austin, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Tomlin's been doing it since since other guys were glimmering their daddies. I mean, come on, you're gonna put him ahead of Tomlin.
8 is Green Bay with LaFleur. 9, the Miami with Mike McDaniel, the cocaine lord. 10, I'm glad that this. I think this is appropriate. It might feel too high, but Minnesota is number 10. Kevin O'Connell, who I like a lot. Brian Flores, the DC, I like a lot. I think this is a pretty well coached team. Although I don't know how good they'll be because Sam Darnold's going to be their quarterback. But I do like them a lot. Number 11 is Indianapolis. Steichen, one of my favorite names in football. Jim Bob Cooter, the OC, and Gus Bradley at the DC. A lot of experience in that room. Number 12 is Buffalo with McDermott and Joe Brady.
So is he the highest so far that could get fired? Is he the hottest seat on the highest ranked of all the top coaches? Anybody ahead of him?
I would say Tomlin.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I think that if they feel like that act's getting old, then that's the only one I would say is probably ahead of him. I can't think of anybody else who they'd even be considering it. So, after that is Stefanski and the Browns.
Man, all these guys feel the same. I mean,
they kind of do.
I mean, from Steichen to Stefanski, and in between you got a Ben Smith, and I mean, they all feel they're all the same age. They all came out of about 4 different coaching trees. They all they do it slightly different, but this is a very new crop of coaches.
This one is one I am not high on. Cincinnati at 14, Zach Taylor. I don't think Zach Taylor's a good coach.
Really?
I think Zach Taylor has just walked into a room where Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins have been, and it's like, how can you screw that up?
Well, he has had a lot of adversity. He has had some winning teams with a lot of injuries. I'm going to give him that.
Okay.
I mean, you lose Chase, you lose Burrow, you lose running backs. I mean, right and left, he's had dudes hurt, and they've still been competitive. But again, jury's still out. This guy's young. Some of these guys, it's awfully early.
15, I also disagree with. I think they're too high. The Philadelphia Eagles. Sirianni, Kellen Moore, and Vic Fangio.
Okay, a year ago, where would you put him?
Probably about here, 15. 2
years ago.
Probably top 5.
Wow.
Because they had Steichen then, and they had they had Jonathan Gannon. They were in really good shape from a coordinator standpoint. I'm not a Kellen Moore guy, and I'm not a Vic Fangio guy.
It's funny. You lose coaches as you're getting good, as your team is growing, and suddenly your offense gets good, and you lose a coach. as a franchise, you lose your players once you got good. Once you've won the Super Bowl, that's when everybody leaves. You lose your coaches before you get there.
Right in the middle of the pack, number 16, the Dallas Cowboys. Mike McCarthy, Brian Schottenheimer, Mike Zimmer. Does that feel about right to you?
Yes, and the only reason it feels right is because we got a lot of film. We know exactly who these guys are. I don't think we could say I know everything I need to know about Shane Steichen. I know everything I need to know about McCarthy. I know exactly that's where he belongs. Probably a little bit higher in the sum total of things. You're not going to tell me that there's any coaches or there's 15 coaches better than him. He's got a ring. And I don't care what you've done. You got it right for a year.
Well, Sirianni right before him too. Yeah.
You get a ring, you immediately get bonus points. So yeah, I think you got a coaching staff with a Super Bowl champion head coach and a Hall of Fame defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And you rank them at 16. The only reason they're there is because we got a lot of film on them. We know who they are.
Yeah. And I think the Zimmer thing is so weird. I think he's a great DC.
Yes, he's a Hall of Fame worthy defensive coordinator. One of the top 30 to ever do it.
Is he a better DC than Dan Quinn?
Just different.
It's just different. I don't know.
Better.
Yeah. So it's a matter of how it fits.
Right.
17 is the Chargers with Jim Harbaugh, Greg Roman, and Jesse Minter.
Hell of a coach, yeah.
Also has a ring.
Mm-hmm. I think he's probably.
Oh no, I guess he doesn't. He went and lost.
But he's been there and done that. And he's coming from college. I think he's probably should be treated like a long-term NFL coach. That there's a lot of film on. That he's going to win football games. I know that you give Harbaugh 2 years in San Diego, they're going to have a better than winning record and are going to be contending as long as guys stay healthy. I know that. Can I say that? If I put Shane Steichen in the Chargers office, would he be the same place that Harbaugh would be in 2 years? I would say no.
Yeah. There are 3 coaches on this list that have won a Super Bowl in the last 10 years. Andy Reid, Sean McVay, and number 18, Doug Peterson in Jacksonville.
Which is the who?
Yeah. Press Taylor and Ryan Nielsen, his coordinators. 19, the Jets. And you know what? I think this might be too high. I've got questions about Robert Saleh as a head coach. I think Robert Saleh is a really good DC. I don't know about him as a head coach. I think Nathaniel Hackett is a bad offensive coordinator. I think he's Aaron Rodgers' buddy, and that's why he's got the job. And then last year when Aaron Rodgers wasn't around, Nathaniel Hackett was like, what do I do? Aaron Rodgers is the OC of the New York Jets by like.
Okay, what if the Jets actually managed to pull off a 12-5?
Then they do it because of their players, not their coaching.
You're not going to give it to Saleh if they does it. Coaching over this circus.
No.
See, I think Saleh's getting a short stick here. I don't think this is fair.
Dude, well, how about this? Have a winning record and we can talk.
Again, but if he manages
the playoffs,
if he manages to pull this off and keeps Aaron Rodgers on the reservation, and guys stay healthy, and he has a winning record, I think he deserves more bonus points.
Joel on the chat says amazing how the 49ers aren't in the top 5. They were number 4. Yeah, they're way up there. 20 is Arizona with Jonathan Gannon. 21, Atlanta with Raheem Morris. That's kind of they're a hard one to press.
Unscratched lottery tickets, as you like.
22, Todd Bowles and the Bucks at 22.
This is another victim of we got some film on you. We know exactly who you are. Yeah.
Well, here is I think this is the highest guy on the list who does have a ring, because we've passed McCarthy and Todd Bowles and Doug Peterson, even Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos. Joe Lombardi is OC, Vance Joseph, the DC.
There's a lot of teams that would kill or die for that trio.
Yeah, but the question is, did the game pass up Sean Payton? And so far, since he's returned, it kind of looks like yes.
We will see.
We'll see.
It appears that he was right on the Russell thing. I mean, he was right on this was a mistake. Let's fail fast. I'm going to withhold judgment. I think Payton is still a football genius. The game hasn't left him too far behind. I think we're going to see he's going to do a miracle job with Bo Nix.
24 Giants with Brian Daboll, who 2 years ago was the NFL Coach of the Year. Now he's probably coaching for his job this year.
He's the next good OC.
25 Matt Eberflus and the Bears. 26 Mike McDonald, Ryan Grubb, Aiden Durden, and the Seattle Seahawks. There's a whole lot of I've got no. I think McDonald is going to be good. I just don't. I mean, there's really no way to know right now.
Yeah.
27 Carolina. Imagine this. They've got 5 teams worse than Dave Canales, Brad Idzik, and Ajiro Evero. Okay.
You could have just named 3 names out of a phone book down there. I don't know who these guys are.
28 is Tennessee with Brian Callahan as the head coach. I think they made a big mistake firing Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
I think Mike Vrabel was a good coach, and I think he'll coach again. 29 is Dennis Allen, who I think is an absolute dope, a garbage coach, and I don't know how he still got a. And Clint Kubiak is his OC.
Did he want Carr, or was it inflicted on him?
No, I think he was glad to have him.
Okay.
Because otherwise it was Jameis Winston, and that was coming off the year where Jameis threw 80 interceptions.
But he would have had an excuse then.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just saying.
I just think he's a dummy.
Yeah, he is.
New England with Gerard Mayo, Alex Van Pelt, DeMarcus Covington is 30. 31, Washington. Now, this one's tough. And it's funny because I really like Dan Quinn as a DC. I don't really like Dan Quinn as a head coach.
Who knows? He might be a hell of a head coach.
Well, he went to a Super Bowl as a head coach.
Yeah, I mean, he might. I think there's lightning in a bottle there. But if he does it
I think
again,
he had a pretty smart OC.
Yeah, and his offense on the other side of the ball. Sure, but to put him way down there and tell me that Matt Eberflus is a better head coach than Dan Quinn. No.
Well, and when you've got
no,
and when your coaching staff has Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury on it, you're putting that behind the that Carolina group. Okay. And number 32, which, listen, I don't know. The Raiders, Antonio Pierce. He won a couple games at the end. The players like him. We'll see if he can coach. I like their DC, Patrick Graham. I don't know. Luke Getsy's the OC. Okay.
I don't think that guys like him and maybe Raheem, any first-year coach shouldn't even be listed. Don't.
Well, here's the deal. Well, I mean, you got to rank them 1 to 32, but here's the deal with the Raiders. Kind of the opposite of what you asked me about the Jets. Like
if he manages to do it, that's a hell of a gig.
Yes. Yeah. If he does anything with this team, I'm impressed. If Saleh does, the fact that he hasn't done something with what he's got is a detriment to him. Anything the Raiders get out of this team is whoa. Same with Gerard Mayo in New England.
Yes.
If you win
anything,
you win 6 games with that New England roster, I'm gonna be like, man, Gerard Mayo can freaking coach.
And that's why I hate these kind of lists, because unless you've been there 3 or 4 years and I can really see your attitude and altitude and the kind of players you like and what you do with them, it's just not fair.
All right, we're going to talk about anal beads and peeing on a soccer pitch next. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
But before we get to that, are you dealing with anything? And if you're having trouble taking your beads out, if you're dealing with any kind of pain, I want to talk to you real quick. My friends over at Rosti specialize in getting people just like you out of pain. So many of us wake up or deal with something that just limits our activities. You ever woke up and just have something hurt? Or maybe you had a weekend of honeydews and by Monday you could barely lift your shoulder. If you're dealing with that kind of pain, a fix is out there with Rosti. These guys, ladies, around San Antonio are highly trained medical professionals with one abiding interest in mind, and that's to get you out of pain in ways you might not have considered. Because most times you go to a GP, you go see your friendly family doctor, and you tell them something's hurt, and they say, take this pill for a couple of days, and hopefully the pain will go away. Not even addressing what the problem was. Rosti's about fixing the problem. And once the problem is fixed, then amazingly enough, most of the time the pain goes away. So you don't have to deal with the surgery and the rehab process behind that. You're not hiding the pain to make it even worse or the problem even worse with medications. You're actually fixing the problem. And that's why Rossi's been so successful with so many people like us. Hundreds of thousands of patients across the country would happily recommend Rosti to friends and family. That just tells you all you need to know. Rosti providers are all around San Antonio. They accept most insurances. And here's the good news. You don't have to go through the hassle of getting a referral. You can call them right now and make your appointment. Here's the number. It's 1-800-4 404-6050. Look, we're all living busy lives. There's things we got to do. Don't let pain keep you from doing those things that you need to or love to do. Call a Rosty today. They're going to get you fixed. And once they do, come by and thank me later.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, we are live from Las Vegas. No telling what's going to happen here at Circa.
And no telling what we already can't talk about, because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. We'll give you the latest on the Cowboys as they leave Oxnard and talk Texans with John McClain at 5:15. The Blitz from Circa Las Vegas starting at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
As fall approaches, you have a lot to prepare for. Back to school, sporting events, family gatherings, and staying on top of your health. The virus that causes COVID-19 continues to evolve. So this fall, no matter what you're prepping for, you can prioritize your family's health and make a game plan for COVID-19 vaccination. Ask your doctor or pharmacist to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off Duration products and Super Deck stains from August 23rd through the 26th. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your bedroom, living room, or home office, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
After a total renovation of their greens, Olympia Hills invites you to their grand relaunch event the weekend of September 13th. Olympia Hills has renovated all 18 greens to enhance your golfing experience. Come and enjoy the dramatic elevation changes and a layout that's been strategically designed for your enjoyment. Follow on social media for updates and witness the transformation of your favorite course. Discover premier golfing in Bexar County with the grand relaunch the weekend of September 13th. Book your tee time now at olympiahillsgolf.com.
When your business needs an electrician, for over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. Powered by relationships with dedicated estimators who analyze the issue, research cost-effective solutions, and clearly communicate the options without charging you a dime. A proven process that allows you to continue focusing on your unique purpose. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or hill-electric.com.
Dig it. Come into any Ewald Kubota dealer and dig the savings on the full line of Kubota excavators, like 0%, 0 down for 48 months. Plus, save up to $10,000 off. Come see us. Kubota deals are here. Kubota deals are now.
Now through September 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer. From the Gulf of Mexico to the hill country of Texas, Ewald Kubota is your Kubota dealer.
Before you fire up that grill, make sure you get into Tri-County Meat Market. Hi, Jason Minix here. Tri-County Meat Market has everything you need. If you're thinking steaks, you want some chicken, some poppers, beef ribs, pork ribs, brisket, picanha, tri-tip. They've got it all at Tri-County Meat Market. Take advantage of their Pick 5 for $25, and Tri-County always offers a 10% discount for military and first responders. Tri-County Meat Market, 2 locations on Ralph Fair Road and on Heavener, or online at tricountymeat.com.
Hi, this is Congressman Joaquin Castro. Here in Military City, USA, we're proud to stand by our veterans. Every year, my office is honored to help San Antonio veterans and military families with delayed benefits, claims, and service questions. Just know that if you need a hand, we're here for you. Call 210-348-8216 or visit castro.house.gov/help to learn more. Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Morning Huddle 94.1. San Antonio Sports Star. Soccer. These crazy, crazy soccer, or football as they call it in South America. Peru. Home of that sweet, sweet cocaine plant.
Have they ever been good in soccer?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Atletico Awahun striker Sebastian Munoz was caught on video relieving himself. He was waiting to take a corner kick while the opponent's goalkeeper received treatment for a fake soccer injury, as they are known to do. He turned away from the camera, away from the field, faced an area where there were no spectators. That's how you can tell soccer's not as big in Peru, because there was a part of the field where there were no fans.
It's like wander into the bushes.
And proceeded to take a leak. And players from the opposing team, Cantorcillo FC, alerted the ref, snitched on him.
Is that wrong?
And he got a red card. He's kicked out of the game.
For what? Delineated in the soccer rules, not urinate pitch?
I mean,
wrong.
He's kicked out of the game for it.
It was a dead ball.
I don't know. Would he have eat in a Gatorade bottle? Would that have been okay?
Well, I know, like Mark Schlereth. Stink. You know how he got that?
I do.
Because he crapped on himself in a game.
Yeah.
There are offensive sinners that are noted for vomiting on the ball in game. There's dudes taking leaks on the field every game. They're hydrated to the point and sometimes you got to take a leak and you can't just run into the locker room. They're taking leaks. I'm not saying it's cleanly and it's healthier, but it's not uncommon.
Plus, he peed off the field.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, it was a dead ball or at least something like that, and he wandered over there. Now, granted, that ball's rolling around everywhere, but you're only using your feet anyway.
If anything, I would say the rule should be you can pee, but it has to be while the ball's in play.
Yes, you have to stop.
You have to stop,
still.
or you can run and pee at the same time. But then you're gonna get piss all over your shorts and your shins.
What we are now. The unintended consequence of this red card is now I'm just going to take a leak wherever I am. I'm not going to wander off. If I got to take a leak, I'm going to pee on the bottom of standing next to you and leaking, peeing down my leg.
Atletico Awahun is in the 3rd division. They are involved in the playoffs for Copa Peru.
Wow, they just need to lay off the Gatorade pregame.
I guess so. I guess that's it. There is some serious security being taken into account at chess tournaments now. Security's ramped up.
There was a cheater last year.
There was.
Using some Google stuff.
Well, there was a cheater recently, at least an accused cheater. Hans Niemann was recently accused of cheating.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that he beat Magnus Carlsen, who was the best chess player in the world. He had a 53 game winning streak.
Yeah, Magnus has been on top for about a decade.
And they accused Niemann of cheating by receiving vibrating signals through anal beads.
Yep. This is not this is not a new thing floating around the chess world. Yes. Vibrating chess beads.
I think that's a good way to I'm going to tell my son about this, for pitching, let the
see,
tell the coach. Yeah, was that 2 or 3? Oh, I threw slider. I thought you buzzed me 3.
Well, that could apply to you this weekend in Vegas or in the Cachada or where you might
Absolutely.
be.
Absolutely.
Got somebody eyeballing, a little vibrate to hit.
I don't even
shock to stay.
Even if I'm playing by myself, it makes the game more interesting.
Solitaire.
But they've got full metal detectors. They're checking everywhere, double checking around your nether regions to make sure nobody's sneaking beads in.
I got to squat and cough to make sure.
Now the guy denied using Hans Nielsen or Niemann. Denied Hans Nielsen. Is he the guy from Die Hard? Hans Niemann.
Booby.
He denied it, and he actually won a lawsuit because they were like, you can't prove that. and they couldn't.
They couldn't prove that he had the beads or that had a purpose for the beads.
I think that he had the beads.
Because I don't think it's illegal just to have the beads on. I don't know how you describe that while you're playing. I think that's fine.
That would be discrimination if they wouldn't let you do
I mean,
that.
But as long as they don't vibrate when you need to move rook to queen's 4.
Well, they can vibrate. They just can't vibrate in a way that
I don't think
gives you an advantage.
So you need like a consistent vibrate. Like,
like you just leave it on.
It's just on. Okay.
Let's go to Thailand. Thanat Thangtawananan.
Easy for you to say.
Yes. He had to go potty on Tuesday. And you ever been pooping and have a sharp pain in your testicles while you're pooping?
Nope.
No.
Me neither. But this guy had good reason to, because a snake had bitten into his satchel.
Oh no, I saw this. Oh,
He said, I felt something biting my balls. It was very painful. So I put my hand in the toilet to see what was wrong.
So you didn't stand up?
I was shocked that I grabbed a snake.
Well,
I quickly stood up and plucked it out. The snake was a 12-foot python. 12 foot.
I have so many questions.
First of all, in Thailand, the first thing I would have done while it was still attached to me is put on a pair of gray sweatpants and taken a selfie for the gram.
Yeah, exactly.
So it would have just looked like I had it wrapped around my leg, and people were like, damn.
Be a French
or the
pole vaulter.
shadow of it. Yeah.
He says the python would not let up, so he began whacking it with a toilet brush. There was blood everywhere, but I was more shocked to have found a python in the toilet. I'll be honest, I'd be more shocked if there was blood everywhere after I stood up off the toilet. That's the most shocking.
Freaking out. Yeah.
The description of the actions, it's something bites my nuts while I'm sitting on the toilet. I'm not just reaching underneath to see what the hell's going on.
Well, I mean,
I'm standing up.
I would jump up and look
I
later.
think
He just like fumbling around.
I think maybe he thought it was a
what?
I mean,
what did he think it could have been?
Some sort of medical
That
issue.
clamped onto his nutsack?
Just like maybe a sharp pain, like I don't know,
hernia.
Maybe a hernia or something. Like, oh,
Just
what the
spread
hell?
my wet legs a little wider. Put my hand down into the poop water.
Maybe I'm pushing too hard.
And then you don't just and then you don't just pluck out a 12-foot python out of the toilet.
12
who is
foot.
currently attached to your nutsack.
Yeah.
I'm not buying this story.
He and his father rushed to the hospital for a tetanus shot and stitches.
At the very least, yes.
The doctor said it will only take a few weeks to heal. His testicles are safe now, and he's lucky it wasn't a venomous snake.
So a 12-foot python laps onto your genitals.
Yeah, no.
I don't think it's a week recovery. I don't think it's just a couple weeks you're going to be back to normal, back in the game, as it were.
Yeah, it's not
I'm
purple
I'm
toe.
not buying this story.
There's
Something else
photos of
happened.
it. They were with the blood on the floor and everything.
Oh man.
I mean, this is
That's awful.
the scene of the crime.
So many questions.
But yeah, he it's going to take. He says every time he goes now, he says the mental scars still haunt him.
Yes.
I haven't used that toilet again since. I don't know if he understands that, like, the snake came from somewhere beyond the toilet.
Well,
it came through the pipes.
Does that toilet actually go to a pipe?
I don't know
Or
what
is that-
plumbing is like in
Or does
Thailand.
that toilet just go into a hole in the floor?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know what Thailand, how good their
My
situation
guess
is.
probably closer to hole in the floor than a pipe to a.
But he said every time he goes now, he checks what's inside and he shoves a brush down there to make sure.
See, kids, we learn from this.
Still pop up. You never
Play
know.
it safe. Play it safe. And maybe
Still pop up.
I'm just
little
saying,
net.
maybe you guys should consider that going forward.
I don't
Might
know.
be for the best to check. For the best to
I'll
check.
tell you what, man. In the middle of the night, I might just risk it and just sit down. I don't want
Yeah.
to turn the light on. I just hope there's not a ball python that rolled up in there waiting on me.
And finally, Texas, we've got something here, baby. The third tallest statue in the United States of America is now in Texas.
So, like, would the Statue of Liberty be number one?
151 feet. It is number one.
Number two, Sam Houston?
No.
Oh.
Number two is the Pegasus and Dragon tattoo at Gulfstream Park Racetrack and Casino in Florida.
Huh?
All right.
And number
I'm
three,
kind of happy that's the second biggest one.
Number 3 is, and that one is 110 feet tall. Number 3, the Statue of Union. It is a depiction of the Hindu god Hanuman. It is in Sugar Land, Texas. It is 90 feet tall, surpassing Our Lady of the Rockies in Butte, Montana, which was 88 feet tall. The Sam Houston statue is it's just outside the top 10. So to put it in perspective, that Sam Houston statue is 67 feet tall. This new one is 23 feet taller than that.
And what's the god again?
It is the Hindu god Hanuman, Hanuman. Now it's odd because also in the top 10 and the second tallest statue in Texas is also in Sugar Land, and it is a 72-foot statue of Kwan Am. It's at it's a Buddhist statue. So the Buddhists and the Hindus are creating these massive statues
in Sugar Land.
Sugar Land, yeah.
What's going on in Sugar Land?
There's a lot of
statues. Apparently,
makes me think there's probably some pretty good restaurants too.
I would guess
You
so.
can probably get some pretty good Indian food.
I would guess so.
Feels like it.
There's a lot of culture. It's a very culturally diverse place. Sugar Land.
Hanuman is the god of wisdom, strength, courage, devotion, and self-discipline.
He's got a lot of stuff going for him.
He's a busy.
That's how you get a 90-foot statue. That's how you do it.
We got a 90-foot Indian god statue.
Yep.
And a slightly shorter Buddha.
72-foot Buddha. And
in
then
Sugar Land, Texas.
Yes. Yep.
I think that we have come a long way.
Yes, we have.
That's a big deal.
Yep. We also have Texas also has the Stephen F. Austin or the Sam Houston one 67 feet.
That's a big one.
The Stephen F. Austin one in Angleton, Texas is 60 feet tall. And I think that might be the last of the giant. Oh no. The in Canyon, Texas,
way up there,
the Harry Wheeler statue.
Big old Harry Wheeler.
Yeah,
Harry Palms Wheeler. You ever know Palms?
I guess this doesn't talk about Big Tex. Is he not considered a permanent statue?
I don't think, because remember he burned down and they had to put him back up. I don't think he's permanent.
Okay,
and he's also kind of creepy.
He's very creepy.
It sounds to me as we are rounding
Do you want
in
a corny dog, little boy.
As we're rounding in on
Big Tex will give it to you.
Finally building the statues to our big three. We have an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Like we could build a statue of Tim that'd be the tallest in Texas.
We could.
He'd have to be bigger than Ramahamanan, whatever his name is.
Now, the biggest Jesus statue in the United States is the Christ of the Ozarks, which is 65.5 feet tall. It's like a knockoff of the one in Brazil.
Oh, okay. I was going to say,
arms
is it
spread
like
out,
standing over Lake Ozarks.
I think it is. Yeah, Christ of the Ozarks. It's called. The Iwo Jima War Memorial, the Marine Corps, where they're like putting up the flag. That one's 68 feet tall,
and that's the one in wherever
in Arlington National Cemetery. Yeah. So, just to give you an idea of how big these things are, 90 feet. That's like, it's a 9-story building.
Right now, there's a Southern Baptist preacher planning for Sugar Land.
Yeah.
Got some plans for Sugar Land.
I got a feeling it's going to be that statue's more likely to show up in Frisco or Prosper.
Where the real money is.
Prosper, Texas, with it's taller than the Statue of Liberty, 170-foot baby Jesus statue.
We look down on Ramanam and that fat Buddha. We're taller than him.
It's
baby
a
Jesus is
statue
even bigger.
of baby Jesus with dollar bills coming out of his pockets and flying on a private jet. All right, let's come back and do the daily lines. Wrap up a Thursday here on the Morning Huddle.
San Antonio Sports Star. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Fall Golf Classic is back. Monday, September 30th at Olympia Hills Golf Club. Get your slot now. $120 per person or $400 per foursome. The Fall Golf Classic, benefiting San Antonio Sports, is presented by the Law Office of Jesse Hernandez, the Texas Chungla, sponsored in part by Jim Beam, PPL Motorhomes, Flight by Yingling, Tomalitos Mexican Restaurant. The Fall Golf Classic happening Monday, September 30th. Sign up now at sasportstar.com.
Trane Heating and Cooling Systems are tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit TraneInfo.com to find your local independent Trane dealer. TraneInfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Diego.
Hi, Diego. It's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special. It really inspired me.
That's great. Doubling the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year is what we do.
Well, I'm doubling everything now. Double dating, double dipping, double feature, double header, double whammy. Basically double or nothing.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off duration products and Super Deck stains from August 23rd through the 26th. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your bedroom, living room, or home office, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Hi, this is Joe Reinagel for my friends at Stevens Roofing, your local roofer. Summer is here, and that means long, hot days for everyone and everything, including your roof. Our hot Texas sun pounding down can degrade and age your roof. So for residential or commercial service, you need a reliable roofer you can trust and afford. That's Stevens Roofing. Online at stevensroofing.net or call them at 210-785-0994. That's 210-785-0994 for Stevens Roofing.
Sherry, what have you done to your hair? What do you mean? Does it not look good? It doesn't look good. It looks freaking amazing. I can't believe how thick and healthy it looks. Oh, I must know your secret. No secret. It's hair volume from New Nordic. Hair volume, huh? Well, it certainly lives up to its name. Your hair has never looked so thick. It is gorgeous.
I was so tired of having thin and brittle hair. Ugh, and the shedding. So I figured I'd give hair volume a try. Needless to say, I'm thrilled with the results. Hey, where are you going?
I'm going to pick up some hair volume right now. My reunion's next month and I want my hair to look as good as yours.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural health products from New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Scandinavia. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or your local Walgreens, Rite Aid, or CVS. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Help your hair look full, voluminous, and beautiful again at newnordicusa.com, Walgreens, Rite Aid, or CVS.
When you switch and save with Progressive, you could use that money towards going to see your favorite team in the playoffs. Progressive cannot guarantee that you can go see your favorite team in the playoffs. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds on average, but we cannot guarantee that your favorite team will make the playoffs or even finish with a winning record. They could easily lose more than half their games and finish in the cellar because they stink badly and haven't made the playoffs in years. Savings? Very possible. Playoffs? Highly doubtful. Switch and see if you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance and Affiliates, not available in all states. We cannot be held liable for your favorite team's terrible and frankly embarrassing performances now or ever.
After you use Bounce Dryer sheets and realize how fresh, soft, less wrinkled, and less staticky your laundry can be, you'll every time. Like those socks that smell like they've been through a marathon. Or that blanket that's got wrinkles on its wrinkles. Maybe even your chatty coworker who keeps distracting you. Okay, Bounce Dryer sheets can't do it all. But for fresher, softer, better laundry,
Gomez Law Firm has been taking care of the people of San Antonio for almost 50 years, the leader in personal injury law. Jose, tell us a little bit more about what you do.
We do ride-sharing cases, 18-wheeler cases. Obviously, we've done those for very many years. Work injuries. We will be happy to take a look at and see if we can help.
If you have been injured in an accident or hit by a company vehicle, then you need to visit joegomezlaw.com.
We've been around for almost 50 years, and we're not going anywhere.
Call the Gomez Law Firm at 736-4040.
South Texas home for the Dallas Cowboys. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Saturday afternoon at 3. After wrapping training camp at the Star in Frisco, the Cowboys take on the Los Angeles Chargers at Jerry World in Arlington for their final preseason game. Pre-game starts at 2 p.m. Presented by AA Best Bail Bonds and Ewald Kubota. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. South Texas home of the Dallas Cowboys. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. As you get into your midday commute, we are in good shape. It's about a 20-minute commute on 1604 northbound, I-10 to 35. 30-minute 1604 westbound from I-10 on over to 281. On I-10 eastbound, Loop 410 to 35, that's about a 5-minute ride. Should take you about 5-7 minutes on 1604 eastbound, Bandera Road on over to I-10. On 281 southbound from Bastion down to 35, that's a 5-minute ride. And I-10 eastbound, 410 to 1604, 5-6 minutes. And Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
This is Jason Minix from The Blitz. You're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Ow! Boom! Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Let's go ahead and get into it because I got a little bit of a wild story here for the Daily Lines.
It's the Morning Huddle's look at the Daily Lines with AJ and Rob on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
So I want to put something into perspective. There's a game, we know week 0 of college football is going to kick off on Saturday. Everyone's excited about it for good reason.
Very much so.
The late game is, of course, as it should always be, Hawaii. Now, Hawaii is expected to be improved this year, but they are anywhere between 39 and 40.5 point favorites this weekend against Delaware State.
And oh, wait a minute. Yes, I know this.
Now, let me tell you about Delaware State. First of all, Delaware State is not a D1 program.
HBCU.
And not only are they are an FCS program, but they are perhaps the worst FCS program. So think about the lowest level of college football, and then think about the worst team in the lowest level of college football. That's Delaware State.
And then put them on a plane to Hawaii.
Yeah.
If they make it.
But put them on a plane later than they planned on going. Delaware State missed their flight on Tuesday. So they had to get to Hawaii a whole day later than planned, and they couldn't fly together as a team anymore. So they put them in a New York area hotel. They were exploring all commercial flight options out of the 3 major airports to get the team to Honolulu. Players, coaches, their whole staff, groups were traveling out of different airports, different airlines, different flights, just all over the place, trying to get to Hawaii. It looks like they're there. I don't want to lay 40 points with Hawaii.
I think you're safe.
I think Hawaii might beat them by 50 points. I mean, what a disaster. It's like some Bad News Bears stuff. Were the Bad News Bears even late when they went to play in Japan? Did they miss their flight?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
No.
They even the Bad News Bears got to Japan on time. If they can do it, then what are you doing, guys? What are we doing? All right. I guess we should look at there's no the Aces lost last night, Rob.
Yeah, I saw that. Surprising.
Now we've got one game today. Libbity Bibbity. The New York Liberty -14 against the Dallas Wings.
I like it.
The Liberty beat everybody by 20 points, it seems. The Wings stink. I'm bummed that I lost yesterday on the Aces. I think I'm taking another stab with the favorite here. I'm going Liberty -14. I'm going to make that wager. Major League Baseball. Garrett Cole goes to the hill for the New York Yankees. They seem to have figured out how to hit the ball. At least Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. Juan Soto has homered now in 8 of 9 games, or 8 homers in his last 9 games. Aaron Judge, 5 homers in his last 6 games. They're figuring it out while the Guardians are starting to scuffle a little bit. They throw Gavin Williams today, the Yankees -185. It is Patrick Corbin Day. However, the Nationals play the Rockies. This gives you a rare opportunity to bet against Patrick Corbin at a plus money number. The Rockies with Cal Quantrill are plus 115 at the Nationals. Will you bet against Patrick Corbin, or do you stay away because he's a favorite this time?
I stay away from Corbin as a favorite.
I'm betting the Rockies at plus 115. I'm betting them.
What do you think they're going to win by?
I don't know. I mean, I hope that Patrick Corbin gives up like 8 runs like usual, which I might like just over 8.5.
8.5?
That might be the way to go.
I'm thinking if you're going to do it, you got to do it.
I mean, you're getting. How often are we going to get plus money on Patrick Corbin Day?
You might as well do it.
I think I just got to go for it. Patrick Corbin Day plus money. I'm going, man. I am doing it. Milwaukee Brewers, Freddie Peralta against the Cardinals with Miles Michaelis. The Brewers minus 125. The Tigers just don't seem to list pitchers anymore, and it's kind of pissing me off. They're like, we'll let you know. We'll let you know on game time. Justin Steele goes for the Cubs. They are minus 205 against the Tigers. Jeffrey Springs pitching for Tampa today. They're at Oakland. Osvaldo Bido goes for the A's. I kind of like the A's here at a dog price. Bido been kind of sneaky decent for Oakland. I think they're a good dog play. Cincinnati sends Nick Lodolo to the hill against Paul Skeens. Now, you got some news today, Rob.
I did.
Tell us the news. Start singing the news.
Our good friends over at BetUS.com send us these daily lines. And today, officially, Paul Skeens is behind young Jackson from the San Diego Padres.
Jackson Merrill, your new favorite.
You're going to make some money on this.
Skeens minus 140
You better hope
today.
Skeens doesn't unleash a no-hitter today. You better hope he ain't throwing dimes all day long.
You got at the Orioles, too. Corbin Burns for the O's. They're minus 155. And Dylan Cease for the Padres against Severino. I like Dylan Cease. Blitz live from Las Vegas coming up at 2. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 on the Little Bitty Morning Huddle.
On your ride to work, it's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson, KTFM Floresville.
Fall is the perfect excuse to update my wardrobe. So I went to Kohl's and fell in love with dressing up all over again, and all for less. With